kind of like this big teddy bear kind of figure. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect because I didn't have that was when I was coming into youth group, but he seemed like a stereotypical youth pastor, if you know what I mean.
First impression of Pastor Jinu was that he reminded us of a Mr. Gru from Despicable Me. Yes.
First impression I had of Pastor Jinu, okay, he had a unique body shape, and I don't mean that to body shame or anything. It's actually not negative, it's a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. But when I first saw him, I was like, oh wow, I've never seen anybody that's actually built like that before. Yeah, so he's just built different.
Right when you first came, I think it was 3 years ago, I was in 7th grade, we were practicing for the Christmas performance, and I was wearing these slippery socks, and then I did this leap and I slipped and sprained my ankle, and I remember feeling really bad because I was sobbing, and then it was only your 3rd week or something like that, and I felt like it was a weird first interaction that we had, because I could tell you were really concerned.
I remember Christine was really excited about him coming to our church because she had him for a JGen seminar before. I remember thinking how good can this guy actually be, but when he did come, I was like, he has such a weird beard and a weird sense of style, which I don't think his style has changed. It's not weird anymore, it's great. I remember Grace drew a picture of him in her notebook, and it was very funny.
That he was another guest speaker. We had so many guest speakers for that empty period where the youth group didn't have a pastor.
I couldn't tell if he was a funny guy or a serious guy, because in any serious conversation he would crack jokes, and in any funny situation he was able to preach something serious like in a sermon. But yeah, it turns out he can be 100% serious and 100% funny at the exact same time.
He was very nice and very funny, and he's still very nice and very funny. Even before he became our pastor, when he was a guest speaker, I think what stood out to me was that he was able to really find a balance between humor and stories, and also the seriousness with the word.
My second year of JGen Arise, I went into your seminar with Joy. We both were like, oh my gosh, the seminar leader is wearing a Hawaiian shirt. This guy is giving us such good vibes. And I remember when you walked into our church and you announced that you were going to be our pastor, it was so crazy because you went from being the seminar leader that I thought was so cool to being the person that my first youth pastor, and I think that's pretty crazy.
I took your seminar, JGen, in 7th grade when I was 12. Ahaha. It was definitely an experience, I will tell you that. You walk in with your bright Hawaiian shirt and you give us a message so dark. I remember my whole entire group, we had nightmares that whole night because of your sermon. The seminar was so good. My first impression of you was, wow, this man is like a light, but he preaches things so dark. But that sermon was, and still continues to be, one of my favorite sermons.
His first sermon back before he was our youth pastor. I think in the sermon he was sharing about how I think he used to drink and party back at his Christian college, and how he almost got kicked out for I think doing so badly. And I remember, I think my impression of him was maybe he shouldn't be our youth pastor, but in the end, I am really glad you ended up becoming our youth pastor.
My favorite memory of you was definitely during JGen 2. You didn't know me yet, but you were asking questions, you were giving out candy. I think you played a theme song, and I knew what it was. Immediately, I raised my hand up, and I was like, that's Kim Possible. And he was like, you're correct, and you threw me candy. And I think you said something else to me, but I don't remember. Where I kind of snapped back at you. I think that's my favorite memory, just first meeting you.
When he became our main pastor, I really think that he grew with the youth group and he grew to fill the role really well.
It was when some of the youth group and the teachers went to a pumpkin patch. There were these hay bales stacked on top of each other, and I remember he climbed on top of them and went, I am your hay king, like Dwight from The Office, and it was just really funny.
I am your hay king.
He was walking into the EM room one time when we were all just hanging out there. He said, "Look what the cat dragged in." But he was the one that walked in, which would imply he's what the cat dragged in, and I just find that funny for some reason. But my real favorite memories of him are probably going to be all the times we met together and how he always listened to me share about my problems and my anxieties and everything like that, and how he was always kind and encouraging to me when I wasn't.
That time when we were all sitting on the couch after service, and he was talking about what he thought of us when he first came to KUPC. He thought I was a fob, and then I started crying on the couch, and that's my favorite memory of him.
After the winter concert, I think it was last year, I don't remember why, but I hugged him and he was very huggable.
So I'm in the library after school doing my work, and I see this number ringing. I'm like, who is this? But I picked up. I'm like, hello. And then Pastor Jinu was like, hi, Abby. So blah, 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 how are you? And then I was like, I'm good. And then he was like, why are you whispering? And I'm like, I'm in the library. And he was like, oh. And he did his little laugh. I'm sorry. And he was just checking up on me, which is very nice.
I can't pinpoint a single memory of Pastor Jinu that is my favorite, but over the past 3 years, he's just always been welcoming. I don't remember a moment when Pastor Jinu failed to welcome us every Sunday or every Friday or every retreat. I really thank him for using his humor and just being so willing to talk to any of us about anything at any time, and contacting us throughout the school year about how we're just doing and stuff.
We got to know him, we got to know his personality. We just learned that he's a really outgoing and friendly person, and I really appreciated how through the years he would occasionally text us or call us, even at the wrong, well, maybe sometimes at the wrong times, but just to check up on us and ask if we're doing okay, and I really appreciated that.
My favorite memory has to be
all the children. During the whole mission trip in general, I think that was a really nice time for the missions team to really get to know Pastor Jinu and really see him be passionate and give his all to run the VBS and spend time with the kids there at Costa Rica. My favorite memory throughout that whole trip was Pastor Jinu with his guitar started singing and I think trying to get the attention, I think it was, of goats or cows and serenading them, but ending up failing.
Since you're leaving, I'm gonna out you extra hard on this one. So we were at retreat, we were about to go to sleep, and then I made a reference to the Michael Jordan "Stop It, Get Some Help" meme, and Pastor G didn't know what it was, and so we showed him the video, and then he laughed so hard he farted.
Stop it, get some help.
You can ask Teacher Chamban about this, he can corroborate my story. And we laughed so hard, I felt like we woke up the rest of the floor. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Yeah.
I would say that my favorite sermon of his includes the Monsters Under the Bed series and his JGen seminar.
A few years back, he gave a sermon about forgiveness, and it stuck with me ever since. It was just very impactful at the time, and it still is. One thing I love about his sermons is that he always begins with some sort of pop culture reference, and 95% of the time it's related to Marvel.
It's definitely hard to choose. There's so many good ones that have stuck with me, but I just remember sitting and listening to you. You would be drinking kombucha or something, and I would be so jealous. And I would just be staring at your kombucha while also trying to listen to the sermon, but the kombucha was very distracting.
I don't think I have a specific favorite sermon, but just in general, whenever it comes to about Good Friday time, he always gives very good sermons, which are direct, concise, and they're kind of like a refresh button.
All of his Christmas sermons.
The first year I think he came, where he talked about the bad and pop songs or something like that with Justin Bieber music video examples, and it really hit me.
His last sermon, I believe, covering Mark 3:13 through 19, about Jesus' disciples. I think that was just a really nice sermon to end this chapter of youth group. I really liked the encouraging words of continuing to be disciples and continuing to serve even after Pastor Gina leaves. Ha ha ha, insert sermon point, insert awkward laugh, hand gestures. Let's pray.
How he walks! Come in! This is our impression of Pastor Chinu when new 6th graders or just any new youth group members join youth group.
Hello! Good morning! Happy Sunday! So today we have new incoming 6th graders! Lauren, Joy, talk to them, you know, Christine, Rachel, lighten up a little bit, teach them the drums, teach them to sing, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now we need to ask you some few questions because the youth group has to get to know you. Who is your favorite Marvel character?
I don't have one.
Go sit down.
So let's say you're having a conversation with someone and he'll be listening, like he'll be eavesdropping, and he'll lean in and be like, did you know, blah, 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 and then it's like, haha, and then he'll leave, and it adds nothing to the conversation.
There's this one thing that he does. He's like coming up to you and talking blah blah blah, checking up on you, and he's like, yeah, you know. Yeah, bye.
I'm not good at impressions, but I do know that one of his famous catchphrases is, just kidding.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm not as cultured as you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Are you kidding? Finn loves me. I might love him more than Jen. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much for serving KUPC in the youth group. Truly going to miss having you and Jen around, but we also pray and hope for the best for you in your next stages in life.
Thank you for everything that you've done for us over the past 3 years. It's really been a short 3 years, I would say. I wish you and Jen and Finn the best of luck wherever you go and wherever God takes you. We'll always be encouraging and supporting you and always thinking about you because you have really been a light to our youth group and just KUPC in general. You really helped us to cultivate an amazing youth group family, and I don't think the past 3 years at KUPC would have been the same without you. So thank you.
I hope that he does very well wherever God leads him to, and I hope that he comes, visits us, and that we'll get to see him again someday when we're older.
Keep in touch.
Yes,
And like our Instagram pictures.
Yes, and
Follow me back!
yes, and
Tell Jen to follow me back! I thought I was her favorite, but guess I wasn't!
I think it's so rare to find someone that truly makes everyone feel like they belong. I remember you would go to almost every single person, whether it was a Friday night or a Sunday morning, you would always just like ask them a basic question or just ask them how they're doing or just even say hi. And again, it's so hard to find someone that actually is able to make everyone feel like they belong. And I feel like that's what you did, and I think that's such a beautiful thing, and I thank you so much for doing that. Again, I keep saying thank you, but like truly thank you so much. I hope that KUPC can always be a place of comfort and a home for you. We're always gonna wish you the best in the future and moving forward. I hope that everything does go according to God's will, and that you receive a lot of blessings. So thank you so much for being our youth pastor.
I'd just like to say, best of luck when you get to Willow Creek.
I would like to say thank you for the 3 years you've served our church. I really loved your sermons and I found them really interesting and engaging, and I hope you do well moving forward.
I'm gonna miss you very much, Pastor Gino. You were an amazing pastor to us. Your sermons were great. I loved the interactions that you had with the whole youth group. That gave us like a little family bond. I think we became more closer with another, and also I'm so grateful for that time that you helped me with my personal project back in sophomore year. Even though we were like kind of awkward, that, you know, I think we made a good bond.
I just wanted to say thank you for being like such a welcoming and gracious pastor. You were my first youth group pastor. You would just always make everyone feel comfortable. Like I would always come early and you would always say hi. no matter how tired I was or how uninterested I seemed, you always made an effort to ask me how I was doing, and I really appreciated that. I don't know how you put up with a particular 7 of us that are very over enthusiastic and energetic, but the fact that you have for 3 years is truly amazing. And I really hope that you'll be able to bless everyone else as much as you have me in your short time at youth group. So thank you for everything.
I am so happy for you. I cannot wait to see what happens next for you, because you deserve it, Pastor Chinu. I cannot wait to see what you do with Willow Creek. And I want to see your dog too. I just thank you so much for really being there when we needed a pastor. And I think that was a time where a lot of us were discouraged about finding a youth pastor, and you really just gave us hope, and you were just such a light, and you still are. And I am so happy for you. I love you so much, Pastor Chinu. Come visit KUPC. KUPC is still home, so yeah.
Thank you so much for being our pastor. And even though, maybe you still really can't tell Matthew, Mark, or Luke apart, or other small things like that, I'm just really grateful that you've been a part of our youth group for this long, and I just wish you the best of luck. So, thank you.
I want to take this time to thank you for the past 3 years. Thank you for being the youth pastor of KUPC Youth Group. We were very blessed by you. Thank you for all your prayers and all the teaching and your testimonies through which I've learned that you really love chicken. So there have been times where I'm eating chicken and it's reminded me of you, thought of you, and I think I'll probably continue to do that. We pray that God will continue to use you and bless you in your new place of ministry. In parting, I would like to end with a special song for you. Just kidding. May God bless you and be with you wherever you go.
I really am glad that you became the youth pastor. Your time here has blessed me in so many ways. And even though I'm sad to see you guys go, I hope that you and Jen will adjust well at your new church. I hope God will bless you in your new ministry. And I hope that we will remain friends long after you leave KUPC. I'm still gonna want to meet up, by the way.
Thank you so much for being our pastor these last 3 years, I believe. 3 years, wow. Thank you so much for all that you've done for our youth group, and for serving, and for being our pastor, and for spending time with us. Thank you for all the sacrifices and time you've spent, and I wish you luck at your time at Willow. I know you'll do amazing things there, and I hope that you will have a smooth transition there. Also, thank you so much for reaching out and really being personable with us. It was really nice getting those phone calls from time to time just to check in. Thank you so much for continuing to serve even in this pandemic. Like, you were able to really just adapt, like continue to have our youth group spend time with each other. So thank you so much for everything, and we'll miss you. I only have orange, but KUPC cuties forever.
These 3 years really did fly by, and I think in that time, that's when youth group truly became a home for me, and you played a huge part in that. So thank you. I'm filming this after editing the video, and just seeing everyone talk about you and their favorite memories with you, it's just shown me that you've impacted our lives in such unique and different ways, and I think that's so amazing. And I know that as you go on to this next journey, you'll impact the next group of people's lives even more and in even greater ways. So as you do go on to this next journey, I just wish you and Jen and your puppy the best of luck. I know you'll all do amazing, but I hope this youth group is also a forever home for you too. And you don't forget about us, and you keep in touch with us, because I mean, you'll always be our pastor. So thank you so much. Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Bye.
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 just pray, Father, for this next step in this youth group, that it would be the greatest historical moment in KUPC history.